like to thank you guys for coming out and tell you a little bit about myself real quick. My name's Captain Jamie Rushing. I run Seagate Charters, which is an inshore guide fishing operation, predominantly out of Wrightsville Beach, but I do fish in the Cape Fear River around Carolina Beach, all the way to the southern tips around Bald Head Island, all the way to Castle Hayne in the Cape Fear River. Different times of the year kind of dictates where I'm at, but I'm always after it. And I'd like to share with you guys a little bit about some of the lures that I like to use. And I'm going to start out talking to you, with the basics first about what type of line and leader material and some of the lures, and also the timing of what to expect at different times of the year and when to start looking for it. And then maybe how some of these lures you'll be able to use in different situations. So if you won't buy something, it won't just necessarily be for one type of fishing. You might find that it works for several different kinds of fishing. So to start out, I'd like to talk about just a basic combination that, every angler to be a light tackle, and mostly what I do is light tackle inshore fishing. So you need a rod and reel that's going to be good for about everything you do, from speckled trout fishing, red fishing, catching Atlantic bonitas, flounder fishing, drum until they get really huge. You can do a whole lot with a 3,000 sized spinning outfit. And this is a size reel that would accommodate 6 to 12 pound test. And then a rod, I like shorter rods, 6 to 12 pound class rod is my favorite. Some people like a little longer, and in some applications a little bit more length can help you get a lot more distance. And a shorter rod can help you put it in a pocket or somewhere a little more accurately, where the shorter rod is a lot more accurate. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to have some 6.6s and as well as some 7s for different things. But to start out, everybody needs a quality outfit like this that'll last you a long time, as long as you take good care of it. Just rinse it off real well and lubricate it on occasion. Now I like to use braided line, Power Pro.
Is that a medium?
This is a 6 to 12 pound class outfit, which is a medium.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And when you look for a rod, you'll find every rod you buy is going to have a small inscription on it that's going to tell the length, the weight of the lure that they recommend using with it, but also the pound class of the rod, which will be the 6 to 12 or whatever, 8 to 14 or whatever you. But I find a lot of times that a 6 to 12 is a great all-around rod and reel and a good size. Now what I like to use for line is braided line, and I don't know if everybody's familiar with braid at this point in fishing. Most people know what it is. And it's came a long way when it first started as fire line and some of the earlier spider wire and the other braids, which are all, these are microfilaments that have been braided and Teflon coated to create a super strong, very small diameter fishing line such as this. 6 pound diameter is going to be 20 pound test. So that when it first started coming around, the reels weren't really built to handle that much pressure, but they've strengthened a lot of the reels that you buy in this pound class now, because they know that people are using braided line and they'll take an excessive amount of force, and you'd be surprised you can really catch some big fish on stuff of this size. If you get into that situation, you know that you've got the power to land something big. Now, at the end of this braided line, I like to put on a leader section. And a standard leader for inshore fishing, I like to use 25 pound class, 25 pound test, monofilament or fluorocarbon. Okay, fluorocarbon is an extremely clear version of monofilament. It's a different thing altogether, but it reacts similar, but it doesn't have the non-abrasive qualities. Mono doesn't compared to fluoro, but sometimes, I use both, but I would prefer fluoro, although it is a little more expensive. Mono still works. And joining these two together, I like to use a combination of a line-to-line combination that's really easy to use, and I'd be glad to show you. Anybody that would, like to see it, I would be glad to show it to you one-on-one when we get done, or, whatever. It's a really easy combination, and I'm going to do it one time together with you, but just to if you really need me to go into detail, I'll be glad to do it with you one-on-one at the end of the thing. So you take some of your 25 pound fluorocarbon, and when I go to make a leader, I usually try to make it roughly about the length of from my armpit to my fingertip, roughly. You know, that's a good starting length. It's going to get shorter if you change lures, so you don't want to start out with it being really short, because by the time you go to change a few times, you may end up with something really short, and it'll be time to change your leader again. This way, you can change this leader. You can change your lure several times over, and not have to change your leader out so often. Another advantage of a leader is, you know, you got this expensive braid that costs approximately 10 cents a yard. Well, when I fill my reels with it, first off, I'll fill them with monofilament behind the braid. And any tackle shop is glad to do this for you at a penny a yard for the mono part of it. So if your reel holds 250 yards of what they call 8-pound test, they're saying it holds 8-pound test mono. But what you can do is you can say, well, the diameter of this 20-pound braid is 6. So I'm going to back it with, say, 150 yards of 8-pound mono, and then they'll do a line-to-line connection similar as this one I'm showing you, and they'll fill up the rest of the way with braid. That way you only buy 100 yards worth of braid. It costs you $10. That's going to last you nearly a whole season, and it's well worth it. So it's a really sound investment to buy the braided line, and especially the Power Pro brand. I've tried them all. This stuff is great, and they make a couple different kinds, but the standard green, dark green, trust me on this one, it lasts the longest, and it'll last you a long time. So for this line-to-line connection, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the leader line, the main line coming off my rod, and I've got my section of the fluoro leader. And you just simply lay these two lines going opposite directions like this, okay? And then turn your fingers in a circle like this. Just pinch it with your index finger and thumb, wrap your these two fingers here, and then you got this line pinched together. And when you've done that, you've got your leader, you got your main line coming back this way, your leader going this way, and the tag end of your leader material here. And you can always move down a little bit. You don't want to waste too much of your leader. You don't need that much room. You may when you first start doing it. But once you got this held together, you simply just take these, pass them through 4 times. 1, pass them through this actual loop that you make. 2, 3, and then 4. You find your fingers start to get used to doing this, and you can do it in seconds. And then once you got them like that, moisten it up just a little bit, cinch both of them together like that, and then like that, and boom. That connection is going to work for everything I'm going to talk to you about tonight. And it's a really small, it's smaller than a uni to uni. It goes through your guides well. If you reel up past this knot, no biggie. You can cast it right through your guides. It works great. Okay, so once you've got your solid outfit, you've got your fluorocarbon leader, and there's a lot of different brands of fluorocarbon, and you can spend a lot of money on leader material, which, you know, I don't like to do that. I try not to, and I'll use mono on some occasions, but if you're buying it, and you're only going to be buying it for yourself and not for a ton of other people, and you know that you're going to get a lot of use out of a good spool of this stuff, this Trick Fish leader is a brand that they've just recently started making fluoro, and for $10 you can get this spool of leader. It's going to last you a season. It's a good investment. I mean, it's a lot cheaper than some of the other brands, and if they can make fluoro for that cheap, I'll buy fluoro when I can get it for that.